Hello and welcome to Art Song Notes. My name is Cara Alfano. In today's video, I'm going to talk about one of my absolute favorite German art songs to assign beginning voice students, and that is An die Nachtigall by Franz Schubert with poetry by Matthias Claudius. Now, the reasons why I love to assign this song to beginning students is because, number one, it's not very long. Number two, there's not a lot of German text to cover. Number three, the melody is very memorable and lovely to sing. And the fourth reason is because the poetry is very accessible and understandable. So today's video is going to be divided up into three sections. Lyric notes will contain the German pronunciation of the text along with an English translation of the text. In composition notes, I'm going to talk a little bit about the compositional structure of An die Nachtigall and how the text works so well with the compositional structure. And then in technique notes, I'm going to give you some helpful vocal technique tips that will aid you in your practicing of this sweet, charming German lieder. So let's get started with lyric notes. The pronunciation of the German text of An die Nachtigall is as follows. Liegt und schläft an meinem Herzen, mein guter Schutzgeist sang ihn ein. Und ich kann fröhlich sein und scherzen, kann jeder Blum und jedes Blatt mich freuen. Nachtigall, ach, sing mir dein Amor nicht wach. Now, the English translation, as found in this particular anthology, the Standard Vocal Literature Anthology for Mezzo-Soprano, edited by Richard Walters and published or distributed by Leonard, is as follows. To the Nightingale. He lies and sleeps upon my heart. My good guardian spirit sang him to sleep. And I can be joyful and can have fun, can delight in every flower and every leaf. Nightingale, ah, do not sing my love awake. So as I mentioned before, the poetry is pretty understandable and straightforward. It begins with a person who has the head of their beloved lying upon their breast. Now, this person, who is you because the poetry is written in the first person, you can be happy and joyful knowing that your beloved is at rest as you cuddle them on your breast because a guardian spirit saw to the repose of the beloved. Then you hear a nightingale starting to sing, and you warn the nightingale to be quiet, lest the nightingale awaken your beloved from the peaceful rest. So now that we've talked a little bit about the lyrics, let's move on over to composition notes to talk a little bit about the structure of An die Nachtigall. An die Nachtigall is in 3/8 time, which really seems to give the song a very lilting and light feel. The tempo is marked as mäßig, which means animated or with motion. The melody is established in the right hand in the first 5 measures of the piano accompaniment, and then it's reiterated in the vocal line in measures 9 through 13. In fact, it almost feels as if the melody in the voice line emerges right out of the piano line. The song is through composed, so there's no verses, no chorus. And I think the Nightingale's song could be represented by the rhythmic pattern played in the piano part, which is found in measures 22, 24, 26, and 28. Now, lastly, in measure 29, the song seems to come to an abrupt stop with a fermata right before the poetic line, Nachtigall, ach. The tone of the song has shifted from that of joyfulness to that of a kind but stern warning to the nightingale not to wake the beloved. And just note how the dotted rhythmic pattern that had been played in the piano that may represent the nightingale song has ceased because of this warning. So now let's transition over to technique notes so that I can give you some vocal technique tips to help aid you in your practicing of An die Nachtigall. Vocal technique tip number 1. Be careful not to sing An die Nachtigall in a sing-song kind of fashion, but rather sing all the way through the vowels to create a legato line. So let me sing for you what I mean when I'm talking about a sing-song kind of fashion. It would sound something like this. Liegt und schläft an meinem Herzen, mein guter Schutzgeist sang ihn ein. So you could hear how I wasn't sustaining the sound all the way through the vowels, especially on the quarter notes, but rather I was just kind of hitting each one of the pitches. Instead, try being mindful of singing all the way through every single vowel, no matter the length of the pitch. Something like this. Liegt und schläft an meinem Herzen, mein guter Schutzgeist sang ihn ein. So there you could hear I was being very mindful to sustain a legato line through every pitch that I sang. Vocal technique tip number 2. The little notes you see in measures 13, 14, and 18 are to be treated rhythmically as written. So in other words, in measure 13, when you see this little 8th note on Herr of Herzen, you are supposed to treat Herr as 2 8th notes, sounding like this. Herzen. Or when you see the little 16th notes on Gu of Guter in measures 14 and 18, it should sound like this. Mein guter. So make sure that you are very specific in how you are treating those little notes in those measures. Vocal technique tip number 3. In measure 23, take an inhalation on the vowel to prepare for your entrance on that next line that begins with the word und. So what you really want to avoid is taking a breath in through your nose or through a closed mouth because of the nature of that vocal line that you're about to sing. You have all of these 16th notes that you're about to sing here. So you will do yourself a great favor if you take a breath in on the vowel so that your vowel's already prepared to sing the word und. So it would sound like this. Und ich kann fröhlich sein. It'll be so much easier than if you're taking a breath in on a closed mouth. Und ich kann. You can hear how it was a little hard to get in the center of that pitch on und. Vocal technique tip number 4. Take time with the fermata in measure 29. Don't rush the rest, but rather take time on the inhalation of the rest to prepare for the mood change that is going to occur in measure 30. Remember, you are telling the nightingale to be quiet. Vocal technique tip number 5. Sing a slight crescendo on the ah of amor because it is a long-held note on the highest pitch of the song, and amor is the word for love. Thank you so much for joining me here at Art Song Notes today. If you found this video about An die Nachtigall helpful in your studies of this piece, then check out some of the other videos here on this channel, and of course subscribe to this channel. Until next time, happy singing!